He was home at last. He peered through the window. The plane made its final turn and pointed its nose in the direction of Morris Bishop International Airport. Tears welled up in his eyes as he sat in his seat and stared at the blue water below. He made out a small fishing boat that left a white trail in the seawater as it sped off in the distance. He saw a couple of what he knew as scissor-tail birds that glided in the distance. The birds were plentiful in Grenada when he was a child, and they are noted for soaring high above the sea and diving swiftly in the water to catch fish. He used to notice that on the Carnage. He never bothered to find out the scientific name for what he called scissor-tail bird. Then the plane touched the tarmac and a loud applause erupted. He no longer thought of the cut-eye look he got from a woman who sat at the end of the aisle and who loudly chirped every time he got up to go and pass water in a small laboratory. What the hell did she expect? After all, he was no spring chicken, and the bladder could no longer retain its content for long periods. He forgot the TV man sitting behind him who pulled out somebody's hand luggage from the overhead compartment and stuck his bag in there. He had angrily stated that the piece of luggage belonged in the part of the plane designated for bulky luggage. The strange thing too, was that his bag was almost as huge as the one he pulled out. The memory of the turbulence the plane had to struggle through became a distant memory, even though it had been mightily discomforting, and the pilot had to reassure them with his authoritative but mellow voice. All of that was forgotten as the plane came to a halt on the Morris Bishop International Airport tarmac. A woman bowed and loudly said, "Thank you, Jesus." It was a prayer of thanks for the safe flight. A little girl, no more than 3, joined in the cheering. She smiled as she put her tiny hands together. It was his first trip back to Grenada in many years, and he was anxious to see what the experience would behold. His friend from Central in Guave had already told him of the many changes that had taken place while he was resident in the cold. He scanned the area before him. When he left Grenada, there was a black sand beach somewhere near Point Salines, and he heard it was swallowed up during the construction phase of the international airport during the early 1980s. Many years ago, it was a popular party liming spot. He remembered the sailor from the man of war, the battleship, who took a serious liking for Grenadian rum punch on that beach. And after consuming a bottle or so, the man got so drunk that his comrades had to drag him back to the ship on the pier in St. George's. He thought of the black sand beach, but he thought harder about the lighthouse. He remembered the day his father took him to visit the lighthouse. He loved walking up the stairs that led to the top. The lighthouse was special, and he felt sad that the lighthouse was history. He used to stand on Melville Street and observe the blinking of the lights and the reflection on the water. There was another light that came to his mind. He vividly recalled the reflection of the lights from Empire Cinema on the Carenage seawater. And whenever he thought of the lighthouse, the words of Philip Bliss's old spiritual song came to his mind. Brightly beams our Father's mercy from his lighthouse evermore, but to us he gives the keeping of the lights along the shore. Let the lower lights be burning, send a gleam across the wave. Some poor faint and struggling seaman, you may rescue, you may save. He made his way down the steps of the plane, thinking about the lighthouse and its importance. There were other lights, yes, there were other lights. His friendship with his old pals from Guelph in the parish of St. John had gleamed brighter than a kerosene lamp over the years. They had kept that light burning. They used to send Manico and tattoo for him, and often over the phone they reminisced about the hunting days at the ground known as the Palmist Dig. Those conversations had put a bright spark in his life. A light put a bright spark in his life and gave him a reason for living. But he was home, much better after years of hardship struggling in the cold, wintry weather. But he made it. He was happy that he made it past 60 years. And he was happy that he was in the Isle of Spice. Another light hit him hard. Still on the topic of light. The sun stung his head, and the sweat poured from his wrinkled brow. He looked around, and he thanked Papa God that he had eyes to observe the beauty of the surroundings in the land of spice. He thanked Papa God that the lighthouse was still beaming as bright as the sun, even it was only in his memory. And he thanked Papa God that an old pal was waiting for him at the airport, and his brother was there too. They had kept the light of friendship burning like a perennial masanto, a flambeau, over the years. And once again, he will drink a fish broth in Guelph. Once again, he will awake in his homeland to feel the freshness of the breeze on his face as he observed the fishermen and women pull their nets near the lands. And he would journey to Carriacou to hear the big drummers play. Those drummers maintained the rhythm and captivating tempo of the drum that came all the way from Mother Africa with their ancestors. He was home at last. He smiled as he hugged his friend. Then they prepared to make the journey to Guelph, and to await the moon night. Still another light. Anthony Wendell de Riggs.